Hey everybody, welcome to our Friday review episode. I'm Dr. Stephen Cabral. If you're new here to the show, Doctor of Naturopathy, founder of the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute and EquiLife. And what we love to do on our Friday podcast is bring you an update as to what's going on here in the private practice and over at Integrative Health Practitioner Institute, as well as go over 2 research studies that I believe will impact you, your family, your loved ones that you should absolutely know about for now or what's coming in the future in terms of medical-based research and overall health. This year, I'm actually doing an herb of the week every single Friday, just teaching you, again, a little bit each week about herbal-based wisdom and how it's been used now for thousands of years and clinically proven. So, I mean, scientifically, clinically proven to work for the human body. So when someone tells you, oh, there's no such thing, these things don't work, you can say, nope, there's actually clinical research behind all of these things, oftentimes much greater than any type of pharmaceutical-based drug. And I bring you book reviews, and this week will actually be a brand new product review. Hopefully you got my email newsletter. It came out on Wednesday of last week, and I went in depth on this product, but not everybody gets the newsletter, which is too bad. It's, of course, free. You can just sign up at the very bottom of stephencabral.com, and you'll be able to get your Sunday rewind and twice a month, the Wednesday product review email, which is just simply my favorite products, like literally the things that I use. You can see I actually use it. It's right here in my office. The thing about this one that I'm about to talk about is that it's portable. So I can take it in my house. I can, pack it up anywhere. It literally packs up in 2 minutes. So anyway, that is to come. I'm excited. Let's dive into today's show. First, I always go with what's the updates, kind of what's been on my mind. Well, the biggest thing on my mind, besides my 2 daughters obviously being back at school, us getting into a routine, us just packing up and moving from our Boston-based home just a few months back. It's been a bit of a whirlwind. I will certainly fill you in more on that in the future. But really what's on my mind is that in 3 weeks from now, we have a couple hundred of our IHPs, so our integrative health practitioners, coming to Florida to actually do an event where we all get to meet up for the first time, which is amazing. We had an event planned almost exactly 2 years ago in Boston, Massachusetts. The venue was booked, the hotel was paid for, and then, a little pandemic happened and they closed everything down. So this is us starting back up and really wanting to be able to unite as a community, get together in person. I couldn't be more excited about that. We had to cap it at 200 people this year. That's what the venue can hold. And that is now sold out. So super excited about that. And that happens in just a couple of weeks for integrative health practitioners. Now, we do hope that sometime in 2023, again, you might be listening to this in 2027, we'll be doing an event for EquiLife community as well. So stay tuned for that. I'll be talking about that always on our Friday Review podcast. All right, what's going on over at EquiLife? Speaking of EquiLife, this week, if you are a listener for the podcast or you're on the EquiLife newsletter, you will see that all single labs, that means if you want to test any of your hormone levels, testosterone, DHEA, estrogen, progesterone, maybe you want to test your IGF-1 levels, your growth hormone levels as you're aging, or maybe one of your child's. You can do all of that. So you can look at there's about 10 to 12 tests. You test your TSH for thyroid and so much more. And these are very inexpensive. So it's like the least expensive labs you can run, and we're giving you an additional 20% off. So if you've ever been looking to retest your testosterone levels, your estrogen, your progesterone, maybe for fertility, our DHEA maybe for immunity and anti-aging, IGF-1, etc. All of those you can find at 20% off this week. And that's at stephencabral.com/shop. That'll send you right over to the EquiLife website. All right, podcast recap of the week, Monday's show. And I'm so excited. I mean, we have a few podcasts now, all within the top shows of iTunes, and that is absolutely because of you, and I thank you so much. And so the Cabral Concept is a top iTunes health show, which is super exciting. And that's in the alternative health category. Our intermittent fasting podcast is like a top 10 nutrition podcast, which is amazing. And now, believe it or not, the Mindset and Motivation Monday podcast has gone into the self-improvement category and is now like a top 20 or so show. So like that's phenomenal. But again, every single one of these shows obviously is through you, your subscribes, your downloads to the podcast, and your ratings as well. So we do appreciate that. That's exciting. And just keep in mind that although I'm breaking them into categories to make it easier for people who only like to maybe listen to certain shows, every single one of those is published every day on the Cabral Concept. So just basically, if you subscribe to the Cabral Concept, you're going to get all of those shows all the time. All right. Last week, or this week, I should say, the recap was on Monday. That was episode 2425, Why Healing is Inevitable. I literally not just broke down the inspiration behind why you will heal, like literally it's inevitable, but I gave you the science of why you will heal as well. So definitely check that out. It certainly helped me through some dark times, and I hope it does the same for you. On Tuesday's show, are fecal transplants the next big thing? And that's a question mark there. On Wednesday, the 7 truths about coffee. So that was a fun one because I've been doing a couple of shows on coffee and people have been really enjoying them and sharing them a lot. And so I said, okay, let's talk more about like the actual myths around coffee because there are some. So I went through the myths and I went through some of the truths. And then yesterday's show was exercise is not enough to stay healthy. This is a hard one to go through, but again, I'm dedicated to bringing you the unbiased truth. And yesterday's show will share with you that just because you do workouts at the gym, that is not, believe it or not, enough to stay healthy. Besides diet, I give you the routine that is proven to work the most, and believe it or not, it's actually, I would say, easier than exercise. Now, again, you know I'm a huge proponent of exercise. I love exercise, so I'm not saying not to do it, but I'm saying you just check this out. It's not enough. And so all of those can be found at stephencabral.com/podcasts. All right. Well, let's do our herb of the week, and then we'll do our product review of the week because I'm excited to get into that product review. So herb of the week, I can't believe I have not shared it with you yet. You know, every single week I'm bringing you an herb of the week. Just, again, love to be able to teach this. So one of my favorites from Ayurvedic medicine. I didn't learn about this one until I went overseas for one of my internships. So I'd read a lot about Ayurvedic medicine and herbalism, and certainly I went over this herb, but not one that, I would say not one that was in my top repertoire that I use quite a bit, but it's used in traditional Chinese medicine and it's used in Ayurvedic medicine, and it's called Schisandra berry. It's a fun one to say. If you're someone like me that has like favorite words to say, I know that makes me very strange, but that's in my top list for sure of herbs. So Schisandra berry, it's also a beautiful herb. If you see it, it's a vine-based herb. It's little pinkish red berries that grow in nature, and there's real scientific research behind them. So now, of course, every form of medicine except conventional medicine has known that this particular herb has worked for many thousands of years. And that's why it gets continued to be used. So what has it been used for? Well, it's always been a hormonal adaptogen. What does that mean? Well, it means that when the body gets too stressed, it starts to begin to lower cortisol levels or allow you not to be as stressed. Now, that also then helps with, what's been shown, fertility, PCOS, and especially estrogen dominance for women. How can that be? We have to keep in mind that one of the cornerstones of PCOS and estrogen dominance and even low testosterone is stress. And so if we can help with stress, and this actually shows as an adaptogen, so it will help bring up low testosterone, but then it will help potentially lower high testosterone, which is pretty impressive for women. This is mainly used for women as an herb, but it's not the only time. Men can use Schisandra berry. They really can. A lot of people think that it's never used with men because it has slight phytoestrogenic properties, but it's actually not true. And that is because low level of phytoestrogens can actually be protective for men for the prostate. So do keep that in mind. Will it work for every man? Maybe, maybe not. Again, like it doesn't have to be the end all be all. I'm here to teach you on what herbs do what, and you can see if it may work for you. I would always use it as part of a synergistic based stack. So if I'm using Schisandra berry, let's say I'm using it, and again, I'm typically using it for women. I might be using it I might be using it in conjunction with other herbs, such as maybe like dong quai or let's say a maca or something like that that will help with libido. It will help with overall fertility, and it will help with potentially balancing estrogen and progesterone levels. So I use it in a product called estrogen support, which is a plant-based estrogen support-based product to help lower levels of estrogen in women. A lot of women use it for menopause and fertility as well. So that's how we use it in our practice. But I also wanted to share with you that it's now being studied in medical science for its properties with liver health and liver detoxification. It's being studied for cancer. And there was one other one that I wanted to bring you that I felt that was really, really impressive, and that was with depression. So this is a mice-based study, but it found in a recent study that Schisandra extract has an antidepressant effect. And they're going to do additional research on this, but certainly an adaptogenic-based herb, kind of like an ashwagandha, may have the ability to help with mood as well. Again, so I'm a huge, huge advocate of it. I have been for many years, and I simply wanted to share that herb with you. So Schisandra berry, and I will try to link up some of that research for you. All links today, including the product review I'm about to do right now, will be at stevencabral.com/2429. All right, let's get into that product review. It is right behind me if you're watching on video. If you're watching this on YouTube, we appreciate you. If you could subscribe to the show and hit that little notification bell, that means a lot to us because we would love to bring you a daily video on a new health-based topic. So we are going over the new Thera360 sauna. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to pop up some photos because it's a sauna, so I can't actually get in it right now. Although I was thinking about doing the actual show from inside of the sauna, and maybe I will one day. I think that might be fun, but I decided not to for today, especially since I have my white dress shirt on and I don't want to necessarily sweat through that. So what is it? Okay, the Therasage, it's called the Thera360 Plus. And if you've been listening to the podcast for any time, I've been talking about sauna for many, many years. And I went through this in my newsletter, so I'm not going to go too in depth today. I do hope that you subscribe to that newsletter. Again, it is free. But sauna is the game changer. I talked about my 5 health non-negotiables, and sauna was number 5. And it's because most people have heard about diet. They've heard about moving their body, exercising, getting their steps in, hydration, etc. They probably have, right? But what you probably have not heard is that if I'm holding up my buddy Walter right here, your main detoxification is through your liver, and you can't see, but right behind here in the lower back, those are your kidneys. Okay, so we detox every day through our liver and through our kidneys. Great. But guess what? There is another way that we don't take advantage of for most people, which means it overburdens our liver and kidneys. And that is the entire suit that this individual is wearing, which is their skin, right? So your skin is the largest excretory organ in the body. That means it is able to excrete toxins over a larger surface than anywhere else. So it's not like your liver isn't going to work or your kidneys aren't going to work, and that's why hydration is super important too, and same with phase 1, phase 2 nutrients. And I talk about functional medicine detoxes, but you're not doing a functional medicine detox every day of your life. You might be doing something like the daily nutritional support, great, but you still should sweat. Your body needs to move in terms of steps. I talked about that. Again, like I love workouts. I'm someone that actually, I'm one of those annoying people that enjoys going to the gym. I always have. I've always loved it. I've just always enjoyed it. But not everybody's like that. Well, the good news is you don't have to still live a really long time because human movement is a big part of it. But we forgot that human movement, along with eating brightly colored fruits and vegetables and sweating, is a part of our innate nature. And I would say for the most part, most people don't sweat. Myself included, I'm raising my hand, unless I do a sauna. I just don't sweat that much when I work out. I'm not a big sweater. So I still need to take advantage of cleaning out not just my skin and pores, but believe it or not, sauna has been shown to help with heavy metals, especially infrared sauna, mold, and much more. And it's the easiest way to do it. So I'm going to do a podcast. I believe it's next week. So definitely stay tuned for next week. It's my new 30-minute I'm going to call it healthy biohacking routine, where I use this new Thera360. Okay, so let me just talk about this just for a moment, and then I'll link up the specifics because you can find out more if you're interested at stevencabral.com/2429. And I mean, it really is amazing. Here's why. So I literally have, I say this all the time, about 90 minutes a day to myself, but not all at once. I've got like 3 30-minute blocks in the morning, after lunch, and then right before I head home. I do my workout. Okay, so I need to fit in all the things that I want in my me time during that time, because the rest of the time is family time and it's work. And so it's not me time. So what I do is I try to say, hey, I'm going to do red light this day, sauna this day. I'm going to do my meditation here. And it's like, it's so much that I'm trying to fit in. So with the new Thera360, and again, I never even shared this before in the past, but I used to take my red light, my big red light, and I used to attach it to an extension cord and then bring it in my sauna. I'm not recommending this. That's not a good idea. This new Thera360 took care of that for me. It's like we were on the same wavelength. And this is a pop-up sauna. So this sauna, you can see it moving. And again, we're going to pop up some images. You can actually keep your head out of it. It's one of the very few saunas, if any, that can keep your head out. So if you have high blood pressure or you overheat easily, this allows people to do it. You can set the temperature for anything you want, from basically 100 degrees all the way up to 170. You can put your hands outside of it so you can actually use your phone or read at the same time, which is pretty cool. But I do it a little bit differently, and I'm going to be talking more about that next week. But I actually put a towel over the top, and I sit inside on the floor. So I get all of the heat at a greater amount, and there's 2 red light panels inside of this. I'm going to pop up a photo of me actually inside of this, sitting on the floor with the 2 red light panels. So basically, in a nutshell, what I do is I sit in this Thera360. It can fold up and it can go in a closet. Like, it doesn't have to be out there. It's a very small footprint, about 3 feet by 3 feet. That's it. Like, it's small. And what I can do though inside is I can get my red light therapy. I can get my infrared sauna. I can do my binaural beats with the iBone app, completely free. And I can do meditation all at the same time. And what I'll typically do as well is some stretching in there. I'm going to share that with you in a full podcast, but this is the product, because I'm not going to be talking about that next week. So this is what I use though. And one of the reasons why I'm recommending this is because it's no to low EMF. Basically, there's no EMFs unless you were to put your head against the battery pack in the back. That's it. So this is a no to low EMF device, and ELF, meaning it's like completely safe. That's great. That's the great thing about it. And you get the infrared technology. And the reason I'm recommending this as well is because not everybody, which is totally normal, and I think, hopefully everyone in the industry can be sensitive to that, they can't afford a $5,000 to $8,000 sauna. So this is a fraction of the price. This is like 10 to 20% of the price. And you get the red light and you get everything included. So I'm a huge fan of it. It's what I'm using every day. My wife's now using it, and I'm going to link it up for you today at stephencabral.com/2429. You can read about the red light therapy, the infrared heat, and so much more. But if you talk about improvements for skin, hair, nails, mitochondria, energy, mood, calorie burning, circulation, it's detox, it does all of that. And you just sit there. Like, that's the nice thing about this device. And it is based on, of course, the research that I talk about that literally changed my life in the way that I see sauna. Before, I thought it was a nice add-on. I thought it was like a biohack. No, the best study I've ever seen, and I'll link it up today, it's called 19 minutes. Literally 19 minutes reduces all-cause mortality by 40%. It means all causes of dying by 40%. And it reduces cardiovascular death, which is the #1 cause of death, by 50%. Again, there is no drug in the world. There's nothing in the world that can mimic that. And it's the only change in this 21-year study. So to say it's remarkable is an understatement. Use whatever sauna you want. This is just the easiest and least expensive one that I know of. And that's why I'm recommending it to our community. I did reach out to them, Therarsage. They're giving our community 15% off. If you'd like to use that, you're welcome to. It's Cabral15 is the code, but I'm going to link it up to see if it's the right fit for you, meaning like if it's something that you think you would use. And that's at stephencabral.com/2429. And again, absolutely recommend it wholeheartedly. All right, last 2 research studies of the week in the show. This first one is, it's pretty remarkable. So I'm going to read this to you right now, and then we'll have one more for you. All right. So cravings for fatty foods. So if you're someone that craves fatty foods, that, salt and fat together, it used to be thought that it's your tongue telling your brain what you want, right? That's normal, right? But actually what they found is it's actually the gut-brain connection. So your tongue tells your brain the taste that you like, but the cravings for what you want actually comes from vagal neurons. What does that mean? It just means it's the nervous system that surrounds your gut. So basically, it's the enteric nervous system and the vagal nerve that runs from all of this intestine right here, if you're watching this on video, all the way up to the brain. All right. And what it's been shown is that in mice now, if you actually, if you specifically breed these mice and you use a specific genetic manipulation to remove these specific neurons that fire to create cravings for fat, the craving for fat actually goes away, which is really interesting. So now, of course, in medical science, and this is out of Columbia University, by the way, it just came out, it's brand new research. It literally came out 2 weeks ago. It was published in Nature. I'm going to link it up for you, of course, if you want to go deeper on this. But it's interesting because, of course, conventional medicine wants to shut off these neurons in people's gut now so that they're not craving as much food and fat. It's just conventional medicine has I don't even know, they're just, it's like the dark ages. It's unbelievable. It's going back to, I won't even get into it. It makes no sense, right? It makes absolutely no sense. Instead of educating people on overall health and diet and healthy foods versus non-healthy foods, and maybe putting a tax on these big food companies that are creating all this processed food and fat, hydrogenated fats, maybe, just maybe, we do that instead of looking at creating pharmaceutical drugs that actually shut down specific signals in the gut, because, what could go wrong there, right? It will only shut down something else, I'm sure, in the body. Not a good thing. But what they did find is that it is very important to keep a healthy gut microbiome. That means a good balance of healthy bacteria. And also that these fake foods that we are creating, not me, but, these pharma food companies are actually changing the signals in our gut. And it's important to understand that this was a very long-standing response from the body to want to crave fatty foods in order to keep weight on. Remember, keeping weight on the body and not starving to death literally is a creation of only within the last couple 100 years. Think about it. There was no refrigeration before about 100 years ago. So we have to understand is that this is relatively new of being able to overeat and eat foods whenever we want. So wanted to share that with you. There's going to be much more to come, but I always want you to know about it first. All right. So the second study I wanted to bring you, and this is also important to me, is this is literally just came out 3 weeks ago as well. This was done out of Tufts University, I believe in conjunction with Harvard. And this was published in the BMJ. It's called New Study Links Ultra-Processed Foods and Colorectal Cancer in Men. And it's kind of yeah, of course, right? Of course, we already knew this. But we have more studies saying it. So my then shout out to the health industry and other practitioners are that we have to come to an agreement eventually that recommending any type of processed foods is not a good thing. And I'm sorry, but that includes bacon and other processed meats. Now, I'm not talking negatively about meat. I'm not talking negatively about fish or eggs, or I'm not saying that, okay? What I'm talking about is processed, okay? Processed meats have been shown over and over. It's one of the top 10 causes of cancer. Literally, it's been known that for decades now. But yet we say, oh, no, these things don't cause cancer. It's these things. No, it's both. They've showed that ultra-processed meats, as well as sugary beverages and hydrogenated fats, lead to colon cancer. This is literally another study. And this was done on 206,000 participants, done over 25 years. And it was a 29% increase in this study in higher risk for developing colorectal cancer. Okay, not good, right? And this is also very common in women as well. But more research needs to be done in women. Okay, so let me just share with you this. And the items were products such as processed meats like sausage, bacon, ham, and fish cakes, as well as sugar-sweetened beverages like soda, fruit-based beverages, and sugary milk beverages, all associated with higher levels of colorectal cancer. All right, what foods were studied? I'm going to link up those for you. I believe there was 130 foods and the frequency of those foods being eaten. Okay, so why is this important? Because again, I just want to share with you the only anti-cancer diet we know of is a diet high in brightly colored fruits and vegetables. If you're on a lower carb diet, you can choose all veggies if you want. But keep in mind, it's the only diet. It is the only diet that we know that is an anti-cancer diet, okay? That means, though, you can add those to any diet you want. And what they actually left open for future review is if you ate more brightly colored fruits and vegetables, or potentially even other healthy foods, it may counteract these ultra-processed foods. And we're seeing that too with cooking meat at high temperatures. Marinating it with things like olive oil and lemon juice and rosemary help to cut down those acrylamides and other factors as well. So again, I share that with you simply because I'm staying unbiased. It is what the research says, and it's what the research continues to say. So please be careful about eating, that pound of bacon every single day that some people promote. All right. Hopefully this show is helpful. Thank you so much for tuning into the show. I appreciate your subscribes, your reviews, and your shares. Thank you so much. I'll be back tomorrow answering our community's questions.